Well, the main story today is how cold it is to start things off. Macon is down to 28 degrees at the moment. Other spots have already dropped below freezing. One big thing I really want to point out is that the wind is still a factor, making that feels like temperature or the wind chill down in the lower 20s. Now, for some of us, that could get as low as 18 or even 17 later on this morning. That'll be something to watch over the next few hours. Another thing I want to touch on is going to be the wind later on today. Thankfully, it's not going to be as bad as what we had yesterday. It's going to be calming down just a little bit. No more 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts, but we certainly still could see some wind gusts between 15 and 20 over the next 24 hours, especially later on this afternoon, which is when they should be at their strongest later on today. If you're going to be traveling north towards Atlanta, the wind is also going to be strong up there. But if you notice over near Alabama, calming down quite a bit. What you see over there is going to be moving in over here later on this evening, which is going to help us out later. And I'll talk more about that in just a second. First, let's go ahead and check in with everyone else and what they're feeling like to start off the day with their wind chill. Looks like the lowest one right now is Macon and Thomaston, both down at 22. Even as far south as Americus, you're feeling like 26 to start off the day. So that's really going to be a huge factor as we get into the afternoon. But our actual high temperatures aren't going to be changing too much from yesterday. We reached the upper 40s across the majority of the mid-state, with just a couple places reaching the lower 50s. Later on today, looks to be very similar. I'm looking at maybe anywhere between 47 and 50 for a high for most of us. And then once we get into the later evening hours, once again, this temperature will be dropping very quickly. We saw earlier this morning that many of us have dropped down to the upper 20s. In fact, yesterday, just after that sun went down, we dropped down to the 30s pretty quickly as well. Now, later on today, I want to get back and show you what it will feel like later on. If you remember, if you were outside at all yesterday around 2 or 3 o'clock, it felt like it was freezing out there with those temperatures. Now, since the wind's not going to be nearly as bad, it's only going to feel maybe about 5 to 10 degrees or so cooler than what the actual temperature is saying out there. And it's only going to get better from here with these temperatures. So the worst time for these temperatures is going to be right about now. Last thing I want to talk about is going to be a rain chance that's going to be moving in early Saturday morning. There is a chance of thunderstorms with this one, but as far as anything severe, it doesn't look likely here in Georgia, but over in Alabama and Mississippi, they are looking at some severe weather late night on Friday. But for us, it looks like it should be dying down before it does reach us here in the mid-state. So our best chance for rain is going to be around 6 or 7 a.m. Once you get into the later morning hours, rain is still possible, but for the most part, it should be backing off by that time. And now here's going to be a quick look at your fish and game forecast brought to you by Harrison's Body Shop. The best time for later today is going to be right around 6 o'clock.